Innovation Entertainment, and Ideal Weddings with DJ Tony Colors. You can find me at facebook.com/Tony L. Goins or on Instagram at instagram.com/DJ Tony Colors. But right now, you are tuned into the BRI, Black Research Institute, with the Negus, Denoris Wilson.
You deserve a standing ovation.
In the Black American reality, the people are presented with representations of real-life kings and queens through the medium of the Black Research Institute, BRI. These are their stories.
One and only Black Research Institute, aka the BRI Network, with Negus Denoris Wilson.
Hey everybody, this is Arthur Custodio Gomes, and I'm checking out BRI, Black Research Institute, with my brother Denoris Wilson. So check him out.
Welcome everybody to the BRI, which is the Black Research Institute, and I limit it to Sky. See, I try to merge entertainment with information, and the icing on the cake is a dope conversation. Ain't no time for the faking, debating, or the hating. I'm trying to hip you all to the moves they be making. They all struggle, but still find a way to make a way. Fight back, count stack, stay black all day. So I seek to supply you all with inspiration, with information to remedy our present situation by showing you examples of Black royalty, and you never have to question my intent or loyalty. We're moving forward with the strength that's supremely kinetic. We're confident, we're Black, we're unapologetic. Instilling self-love with what really breeds hopes. No doubt about it, Black people, we dope. Yeah, Black people, we are dope, and tonight is no exception. I got a brother on tonight that I want to talk about something that we don't really discuss in our communities, and that's people returning from prison or jail and they return to society. These people, which is a healthy percentage of Black males, we don't. How can I say it? We don't include them in the things that we're trying to do for one another. And I want to discuss this tonight with a brother who spent a little time in a federal university just like me and came home. He's recently come home and he's trying to better himself, for the people he loves. So when we come back, I'm gonna introduce tonight's guest. All right. Okay, and we back. And tonight's guest, I'm gonna be straight up. I'm gonna keep it a buck, keep it 100 with everybody. Tonight's guest is my cousin. It's crazy And I don't think that we're gonna get into that story, but it's crazy how we found out that we were related. But he went away for a while and he came home. He's out and he's doing this thing. So everybody, I like everybody to give a warm BRI welcome to my brother, Magnetic Sun. Magnetic, what's happening, brother?
What's good?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to be sitting here, finally able to, exhale with someone I love, someone I trust, someone I know who has my best interests at heart. Because a lot of times, people just want to hear your story to poke holes, to punch holes, push daggers up, and you know what I'm saying? To be able to express myself openly in a forum like this and know that this is really a judgment-free zone. I can relate to that and I can get into that.
All right. Well, you said you watched the show, so you know that it's at the beginning of every show, it's customary that I ask you 2 questions. So you ready?
I'm definitely ready.
Okay. So first of all, are you being safe?
Definitely being safe.
Okay. Are you happy?
I'm definitely striving every day for happiness. I see happiness as total and complete tranquility and satisfaction within myself. And that's what I'm striving for. I'm making my situation one in which brings about that type of happiness.
Okay. Well, so that's all I needed to hear. So look, Mag, I know you, but most of my viewing audience don't. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in New Haven, Connecticut. I live in Brooklyn now, but I grew up in New Haven, Connecticut, and growing up, it was rough. It was a beautiful experience, because I had a mother and a father within the household, even though it was a little dysfunctional in the sense of him being a alcoholic, but he worked every day and he was there, and a lot began to go on that I didn't understand until later on. My sister had to really school me to what was really happening and why it was happening. But at the time, it really threw me for it because I was a straight A and B student. But at some point, I came to realize or came to know that my mother, not only was my father an alcoholic, but my mother began to use heroin. And, it was that, realization that really threw me for such a loop that I wasn't able to come back from, as far as, started doing bad in school, started just hanging with the wrong crowds, leading to the wrong things as far as crime and, dropping out of school, all kind of things that basically led me to prison, So, once that happened, and I went to prison. I got found guilty of first-degree manslaughter in 1986 over a robbery going bad.
Slow down. You got to slow down, man. You got to slow down, man.
I'm about to give it to you, man.
We got a whole hour, bro. You got to slow down. So listen. So growing up in New Haven, Connecticut. Listen, man, Elm City ain't no joke. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you Elm ain't no joke. But growing up in Connecticut, right? Like what were some of the things that you would say that contributed to you going from being a straight A student to being out in the streets? What are some of the things that you would think contributed to that?
I just gave you the main and really the only thing that really set that in motion. Once I saw that my mother had succumbed to an addiction that really changed her entire life, changed my entire perception of life, of her, of life, of myself, of my future, everything. That's what really did it. That was the catalyst that brought about everything else that happened. Because I lived for my mother. Like, to see a smile, I would do anything to see a smile. I brought home straight A's and B's just to see a smile on her face. just to hear her tell her friends, like, I'm so proud of my son. Look what he did. That meant everything to me, bro. Everything.
I can relate, man, because when I never was really deep in the streets and nothing like that. I did my little stints, but I wasn't never really deep in the streets. But when I was in college at Elizabeth City, man, I think it's going on my third year. Now, I got two mothers. I got a biological mother, which is Diane Wilson, hey mom, and I got Linda Faye. You know what I mean? I got Linda Faye.
Auntie.
Hey,
That's
mom.
right.
Yes, right.
That's
I
right.
got Linda Faye, but and no love lost from either one of them. But I was raised by my grandmother primarily. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
when I went to college, and my grandmother died, it was almost like, because my whole thing was I'm going to college, going to the NBA, and I'm gonna buy my grandmother a house, right? Like that was my whole thing. And when she died, it was like, yo, why am I still here? So I feel you on that. Like I feel how, one event can make you say, F it, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna do whatever it is I want to do. You know what I mean? So let's go back. Now you've been incarcerated. And you said you got found guilty for a manslaughter charge in what? You said 98 or 89?
86. Well,
86.
The event happened in 86, but I pled guilty and was sentenced in 87 to 17 years in prison.
17 years in prison. And out of that 17 years, how much time?
I did 11 years and 11 months.
Was that fed or state?
That was state.
Okay, so you did 11 years and 11 months. So 86. So you came out in 97.
98.
98. That was right around the time when we met then.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We met when I came home. I had just came home off of my first bid.
Okay. All right. So now, when you came home off your first bid, what was your mindset? Like, man, be real. What was your mindset?
Let me tell you something. I came home with so much anger, resentment, and with a determination to basically make the world pay for me having done all that time. I was not in the proper mind state in terms of, seeing things clearly for what they were. You know what I'm saying? All I saw was, I was an angry person. I'm telling you, I never smiled. I never laughed and joked. When I came home, I kept everybody on edge. Like until you became part of my inner circle where I was really feeling you, where I felt like comfortable around you, I made sure you didn't feel comfortable around me. I was that type of dude. And I was in the streets heavy. So, that whole aura and mind state, it really worked in my favor at that point.
Okay, so you get out in 98, you in the streets. We're not going to talk about what you're doing in the streets. We just saying you in the streets. We're not going to talk about what you was doing in the streets. We're going to talk about this. So you're in the streets, right? And were you working? Did you come out and get a job?
Listen, when I got home, 2 weeks, I came home July 13th, 1998. 2 weeks after I was home, I was working at the shipyard because I was, I worked out crazy. I was right. And so my cousin told me, yo, go down to the shipyard. They had what is called Shape Up, New Haven Terminal. They had what is called Shape Up, like 8 in the morning. And you just go down, you just make sure you got some steel toe boots, gloves, work gear. So I bought the work gear. I went down there. First couple of times during Shape Up, what they do is they pick individuals to go into the hatches. You throwing change, you hooking chains up to the cranes. The cranes come over and drop the chains down. You hook them up. You use the like crowbars or whatever to get little angles for the chains so that when you hook it up to the crowbar and it lifts it up, now you could throw the direct, the big chains under it and hook it up properly. Because if that thing isn't proper, you already know what happens. But anyway, I did that. They picked me after the first couple of times I went and didn't get picked. When I finally did get picked, bro, I was all in. I went down there. They showed me what to do. I was about my work. They loved my work. They saw that I was safety conscious, and I was locked in. Every time I went, they picked me. So I had a job. I was making $15.71 an hour in 98, $15.71 an hour. All the overtime you want, and everything over 8 hours was time and a half. You ain't have to put in 40 hours. You understand what I'm saying? So it was a great job. I mean, that's what really put me on.
What you mean put you on?
Man, I did that for 3 months straight, and you know, I was loaded. Like I'm locked and loaded now. You know, the whole time I'm doing, because man, I was criminal minded through and through. That was the means to an end, basically. You know what I'm saying? I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew how I wanted to do it. I just needed, you know, the Skrilla, basically, put that money in place to do what I wanted to do.
So you worked that job for 3 months. You got your bag up, and you went doing what you know how to do, right?
Absolutely.
Now, how long was you thugging it? How long was you out there?
Man, listen, from 98, I caught the case in 2000. I blew trial in 2002. You know,
okay,
I was sentenced in New York to 8 to life, bro.
So you was so you got out in 98, you blew trial, so you was out 2 years.
Now I was actually out 4 years.
Okay, 4 years. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, 4 years. So check this out. When you got arrested for the second time,
yes,
the moment that you got arrested, how did you feel about yourself?
Listen, let me tell you something. When you getting the kind of money that I was getting, it's like that money changes your whole mentality, outlook, not only on yourself, but on reality itself. You are not in tune with the reality of your situation, bro. When you sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're not in tune with the reality of your situation. In your mind, or in my mind, and to my way of thinking, I could buy my way out of anything, bro. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, I knew I hadn't assaulted anyone. Yeah, I had mad drugs and mad money on me when they ran down on me, whatever the case may be, but I hadn't assaulted anyone. And the whole reason for them approaching me was because of someone that got assaulted. You understand what I'm saying? So when they arrested me, the whole thing, boom, boom, boom. Listen, I got out on bail. I wasn't worried about it. I dropped like $25,000 on a lawyer for this meatball case and said he gonna eat it. You understand? I had the same lawyer, believe it or not, that Shine had when he was going through that. The same time Shine was going through that thing when he shot up in the club, we had the same lawyer. You understand what I'm saying? But the bottom line is, when you got money like that, you think you can buy your way out of anything. You know what I'm saying? And it don't work like that. It don't. We can talk a little about the system, which I definitely want to touch on for younger brothers that's listening right now, that think, they got this, bro. I can tell you some things that, trust me, bro, you definitely want to peep it and keep it.
Hey, man, I tell people, like, if you see, you go to the park and you see basketball players, or you see people playing basketball every day, and you young, that's what you're gonna want to do, right? Like, you're gonna want to play ball. You're gonna want to do it better than the person that you see. You know what I mean? You want to do it better than them. In the inner cities, what they see drug dealers, they see pimps, you know what I mean? They see, scammers, they see all these things. And that's what they want to imitate, right? Like, they want to imitate these people, but not only imitate them, they want to do it better than them, right? They think, like, they got caught, but I'm gonna do it better than them, and I ain't gonna get caught, right? Like, so, the system, man, it is what it is for me. Like, I try to tell young brothers, man, avoid getting your name in that little, all policemen got that little notebook. They got a little notebook that, when they stop you, they'll write your name down, date of birth, address. Avoid even that. Avoid getting your name in that book. Avoid that because the system is easy to get in, but it's hard to get out of, man. Like it's hard to get out of, especially because, and I tell people all the time, man, like, yo, this system this judicial system that's in America, we gotta understand, and we really gotta understand that when they made this system, they did not have us in mind. Right? This system wasn't made for us. And because it wasn't made for us, we get treated unfairly in the system, right? Because it wasn't made. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering, are you referring to the system not being made for us, not being designed for us to flourish and thrive within it? In that sense, you saying it wasn't made for us?
No, what I'm saying is when they devised this system, the system all stemmed from the Constitution, right? Like everything stemmed from the Constitution.
Referring to?
Listen, the American system, whether it be judicial,
all right,
whether it be judicial, whether it be social, whether it be economic, whatever. When they came up and they formed America, we was not considered at all because we were still slaves.
Okay, right. Now I see. Okay, you taking it back. Okay.
Right. We were still slaves. So because that system wasn't designed for us, or meaning it didn't have us in mind, whenever we get locked up in that system, we're not treated fairly. We're not treated like they treat themselves because it wasn't designed for us. Right. It wasn't designed for us. So when you get caught in this situation, you're paying this lawyer $25,000 and if not for nothing, me personally, I don't think you should have got life, ate the life. But did they give you a habitual criminal charge or what?
Sentenced as a predicate. Second time,
right.
Remember I told you I did the bid for manslaughter. So this time, I had first degree gang assault and I had A2 drug charges. So I beat the first degree gang assault. They gave me second degree gang assault with the drug charges. So they gave me 8. They gave me what they gave me? They gave me 8 flat for the gang assault. They gave me 4.5 to 9 on the A2 drug charges. In the third degree, whatever degree that is that constitutes, with intent to sell. And they gave me the 8 to life for the the A2 drug charges themselves, possession, of a second time felony offender under the old draconian Rockefeller law. Yeah, I was sentenced under that 8 to life.
I thought the RICO was a 3-time offender though.
No, that we dealing with predicate felony offender in New York. The second time you get you don't even have to have that first felony out of New York. It just have to be within that time frame.
Wow.
That still keeps it active as your second felony. If you don't go 10 years without having been convicted of another felony, then that's still active. To whereas if you get caught up in something again and you get convicted of a felony offense, yeah, that's a predicate. They call that a predicate offender. Not a persistent. That's that 3-time. When you hit that persistent, that's that 3-time. That's when they can put your lights out, basically.
Okay. So basically though, for you, the gang assault charge was a reason, was what for them it established probable cause to search you, right?
Yeah. See, the whole reason I went to trial on that because I didn't commit the assault. I was there. I saw what happened. I knew why it happened. I knew all of that, but I didn't participate in none of that. You know what I'm saying? But I was there. And when the people who did it actually ran and got away, I stayed there. I didn't run because I didn't have no parts in that. You know what I'm saying? But when the police came, the individual that was assaulted actually pointed at me and said I was one of the dudes that assaulted him. Yeah, I'm standing there. Everything I got on, I'm at the tunnel that night. The whole Jay-Z Rockefeller team, January 2nd, 2000. I'm at the tunnel watching the whole Rockefeller team perform. I leave there at about 3 in the morning, get back to the garage where my car is located, and all hell breaks loose. That's the bottom line of what happened. And when the police came, some pointed at me and said, yeah, he was one of them. They approached me, initially they approached me aggressively. And I wasn't trying to put my hands on the car, this, that. So they pressed me. Like, yo, we were basically telling me we will put hands and feet on you up in if you don't put your hands on this car. So I put my hands on the car. They did the Terry search or whatever. No guns, no weapons. So they let me take my hands off the car and talk. So I'm basically telling them like, yo, look at that dude. I said, yeah, I was here. I saw what happened, but I ain't have nothing to do with that. I said, yo, look at him and look at me. Everything I got on is brand spanking new. He bleeding like a pig. I said, yo, if you find any scrape, scratch, anything, blood, anything on me, please arrest me. I didn't have nothing to do with that. So as I'm talking, the supervisor who chased the dudes out of the garage came back. So I pointed at him. I said, yo, him right there. He'll tell you I had nothing to do with that. Bro, they took him on, it was an L-shaped garage. They took him on the other side of the garage. He never came back. They came back over and said, yeah, he said you was one of them. Put your hands behind your back. That's how that went down. Now they got cameras. This high crime area, the tunnel is popping. You know what I'm saying? High crime. They got cameras in the garage. But when it came to get those tapes, mysteriously, no tapes. You understand what I'm saying? You know how that went. Yeah. But
yo, when they had your hands on the car, did they run your name?
No. At that point, they didn't run it. Let me tell you something. When they put the cuffs on me, he said, "Where's your car key?" Now listen, I'm legally parked in the parking garage. My car never left the garage. Now listen to this. He said, "Where's your key?" I said, my car don't got nothing to do with this. I'm leaving my car right there because all I'm doing when I get my phone call, somebody coming to get my car. You know what I'm saying? That's my thinking. But this dude went in my pockets. I'm like, yo, what you doing? He's like, shut up. They got me hemmed at this point because I'm like on some like you ain't going in my yes we are. Basically, he's saying yes we are. He went in my pockets, took the key off the ring. You know what I'm saying? Key to the car off the ring. Put the rest of the keys in my pocket and put me in the car and took me away. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing was they try to say at my suppression hearing, they try to say that they asked the supervisor if he wanted to keep the car there. He said no. So they had to impound the vehicle, and during impounding the vehicle, they did a safety sweep. And it was during the safety sweep that they found drugs. You understand what I'm saying? Initially, they say it was 1.5 ounces of drugs, right? Cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I get down to the station. They searched me. I had like $3,800 on me because I had just snatched up a bunch of money before I got on the highway to go there. So I had mad bread on me. So they took all the money, came with the drugs. They play the game. Police come to you want to talk to me? Talk to you about what? Yo, I can help you out here, all that. Nah, we ain't doing none of that. So he stayed there trying to, I'm like, yo, you mad disrespectful, man. Get away from me. I said, yo, I'll be out of here in a minute. I know, give me a phone call. Give me that. You know what I'm saying? So they gave me the call my peoples, told them, come up, bring 10. I told my girl straight up, bring $10,000 with you. Come up, get my aunt, come up. They got to bring me to court in the morning. Be there with a lawyer. And so she was, and I got out that morning, and the case went from there. But the bottom line is, bro, if I sit here and tell you how that whole thing went down, you'd be like, yo, listen. And I got the minutes to prove it. Like I bought all my trial minutes, and I took that thing all the way to the feds. If I tell you what they did, that's why, like, my main message here to young brothers that's out there, they think they moving and shaking, they doing their thing, and they secure, or they might know the law or whatever, because I lived up in the law library. Means nothing, bro. Let me tell you something, and this is very important. Listen, I mean, listen to this. When I was going through appeals, I appealed it all the way to the feds. While I'm going through the process, I paid another lawyer, Stephen Murphy, the same dude, that Howard Beach thing. Remember that whole how back in the day, that whole how I had that same for my appeal attorney. You know what I'm saying? He did his thing and all of that, but I was on some other stuff. You could, man, I wasn't the type that sit back and let somebody, I'm not doing that. So I lived up in there. Let me tell you something. I shepherdized my cases, got cases all the way up to the date. You know what I'm saying? Up to the year that this appeal is going all the way up to the year. It was so many cases that was so similar to mine, man. It was mind-boggling. Like, I'm gonna tear them up, because in those cases, they got relief through the courts. You know what I'm saying? They went home. You understand what I'm saying? Or they got new trials or whatever the case may be. So I know, listen, I'm coming up out of this, bro. Let me tell you something. Your fate, when you deal with the courts, your fate is determined by the specific judge that you have that's looking at whatever you presenting, whatever your lawyer is presenting, though whether it's a 3-panel judge or one single judge, your fate is determined how that particular judge interprets that particular law. The judge in the cases that I shepherdized, they interpreted in the defendant's favor because it was blatant. You understand what I'm saying? And mine was blatant too. So I know he rock and roll, I'm rock and roll. No, it don't go like that. The specific judges in my case, they interpreted that law totally different and drew different conclusion. It was unanimous. They unanimously, 3-panel judge unanimously affirmed my conviction.
Wow.
And listen, bro. If I run it down to you, the things I found out doing research, like that first lawyer, Murray Richmond, was the lawyer that me and Sean had. Murray Richmond. Yeah. That joker there, he did me so filthy. When I lived in the law, I used to be in the law library so much they thought I worked there. The COs thought I worked there. I used to go in the back with the workers and get my own books, do my own. CO never said nothing to me. I was there so much when they found out I didn't work there, they was like, yo, you want a job? Hell yeah. I became a law clerk. Straight up. I lived in there, bro. I basically did my own brief for my appeal. He argued it and everything, and he did his thing. I couldn't go, but my wife at the time, she went. She said, I never kissed a white man in my life. She said, but when he finished tearing that prosecutor a new one at your appeal hearing, she said, man, I kissed him because I knew you was coming home. Unanimously affirmed based on what I just told you, bro. Your fate is determined by the judge who interprets the law in regards to you and the facts of your case, bro. I don't care. You get cases so similar. It's like the same case, different outcome. But for you, nah, negative, Batman. You staying right where you are. And
okay, so after you got, how much time did you do on your current charge? Like how much time was you down?
On that 8 to life?
Yeah.
I did 13 years and 3 months.
So yeah. You trying to tell me, cousin, that because I remember seeing you and then not seeing you, and you was going for 13 years?
13 years and 3. What happened is that the case happened in 2000.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Magnetic. Oh, man. Okay, so I don't know what happened. I'm going to try to tell him to try to come back in or something. Internet went down, but he in New York City, so I don't know. But I want to say this, man. We make up 13% of the United States population, but we make up over 49% of the prison population, and that is disproportionate. And that's systemic. That has nothing to do with that we are we're more criminal minded than than anyone else. It's just systemic. It's the way the system is, because you got to think about it from the lawyers to the prosecutors to the judges, and many times the juries. Like, they're not really our peers. They're opposite of us. So nothing in that system works in our favor. I believe this: if you do a crime, you do the time, but my time should be the same amount of time as you would give anyone else. Don't sentence me unfairly. Don't sentence me to an astronomical number. Sentence me the way that you sentence everyone else, but that's not the case. And that's why I do stuff like this, so that we can get involved. We can be lawyers, we can be prosecutors. Listen, man, I don't care what no one says. There's nothing wrong with being a police officer if you do your job the correct way. There's nothing wrong with being the police officer. It's actually honorable if you're doing it the right way. So you have us as a people, we have a rational or logical distrust for the police, and I mean, it's warranted. But if we don't trust the police, and none of us are out here trying to be the police, then that particular distrust of the police is going to stay evident, because we're not trying to be in those fields, right? And then those that those of us that do take up the mantle and want to protect society, and become a black police officer, they're so outnumbered. Like they are so outnumbered that, if you've been working on a job 5-10 years and you like your job and it's a nice job, but you see an officer doing something wrong, it's hard for you to cross that blue line, because it's not just about telling the truth. It's your livelihood. It's how you make your money. It's how you put food on your table. It's how you pay your bills. That's going to be in jeopardy too. And you're going to do that for someone, even though you want to do it for justice, but you're going to do that for someone who you really don't know. You're going to risk everything for somebody you don't know. And that's scary. And I understand. But if there were more of us who were trying to be, or who were police officers, then we'll have, some type of fraternal brotherhood, somebody that we know got our back and ain't gonna let it happen. So I do shows like this to inspire us to do things that, quote unquote, normally we're not doing. And I wanted to talk to Magnetic because, that man spent almost 25 years of his life behind bars. And if you know him, well, most of you don't know him, but if you meet him, he's very intelligent. He's funny. He's respectful. He's calling me now. Hold on. Just come back in, Magnetic. Nah, you're not back in. Nah. Do you see me? Yeah, just refresh. Yeah. All right, so I got to get back to the show. I'm waiting on you, though. All right. Yeah, so he's intelligent, he's smart, he's respectful, he's honorable, and he's loyal, but he's also a product of his environment. If you never been to New Haven, Connecticut, man, New Haven is not nothing to play with. New Haven and Bridgeport, not nothing to play with. Not nothing to play with. Yeah, Connecticut is a small state, but it's a lot of people getting money in nefarious ways up there. And if you're young with an impressionable mind, you would look up to that. You would think that's what it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? So, and that's not what it's supposed to be. So I'm waiting on him to come back. But while he's coming back, man, I got a big announcement to make. So this is the last culture interview for the year. And on December 31st, which would be what? When is the 31st? The 31st would be, wow, Friday. Friday, I'm going to do a special BRI, and it's going to be an announcement. And I want everyone, just tell everyone just to tune in and listen, and because I need everyone's participation. But I'm excited about this. I'm really, really excited about what I'm trying to do, and the idea, the idea that I have. It looks like he's having technical difficulty, man. So I'm not even really, I'm not really gonna just be here and hold you, but I want y'all to understand something, man. We as a people, we gotta stop letting people determine things to think about, right? Like you gotta, you know, the media tells us sports, the media tells us movies, the TV tells us a lot of things to put on our minds, right? But most of the things that they are putting in our minds don't really help us. They don't really help us. I'm not saying that they hurt us, but they don't help us, right? And you're letting someone else determine what goes inside your mind. You know, sometimes take the time out and say, you know what? I want to read a book, and read the book that you want to read, not the book that someone tells you, not the book that someone suggested to you. Okay, he's bad, but the book that you want to read. All right, hold on. Yeah. Oh, okay. You back now, huh?
Yeah. You won't believe what happened, man.
What happened?
I wasn't plugged in. The thing was, because we doing a video, it was pulling a lot of power, and I needed to plug in to keep the power. It's like I ran out of juice. My joint shut down.
Okay. So now, where were you when you were talking? You remember?
We was dealing with, you know,
Oh, nah. You came home. You came home after the 8th of life. How long were you down on the 8th of life? 11 years or 13?
I did 13 years and 3 months.
So you did 11 years the first bid.
11 years and 11 months, and then 13 years and 3 months.
So that's damn near 25 years of your life.
Yeah, not to mention the violations. It was a couple of, in New York, it was like 3 violations.
Okay, Magnetic, how old are you?
I'm 57.
You're 57 years old, and you did just long time. You did 25 years. You did damn near half of your life in prison.
Yes.
Right. So when you came home the second time, what was your mindset?
Oh, the second time I came home, I had got knowledge of self. So I had a clear mindset, but those demons, like, one thing about doing a whole lot of time like that and being in the streets the way I was, you don't just wake up one day and get over that. Like, there are demons that, like, it's like that. I heard a story that really made sense to me. It said, within us there exists 2 wolves. You know what I'm saying? And you can say one wolf, you can name all of those great characteristics that I built up within myself over the course of all of those years. And then the other wolf, you can name all of those characteristics that were in me going into that whole thing, that I brought with me from the streets, that still remained alive. You know what I'm saying? And it says they're doing a battle within you for basically which one will live. And the one who ultimately lived, you determine which one that is, and you determine it by the one you feed. You understand what I'm saying? And so I came to realize, based on that I was feeding the wrong wolf, and I was starving out the one that would, allow me to make a successful transition back into society, man. And I went through that, even coming off of this second bid with knowledge of self. I went through that. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of things that I was still doing that was feeding the wrong wolf. But one thing that my savior was the fact that I had elevated and saved self to the point of not starving that other wolf. Even though I was feeding this one, I was feeding that one too. You understand what I'm saying? And ultimately, here I am. Yeah, ultimately, here I am now, and this transition is about to be complete. You understand?
All right, so now check this out. Cause I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? Like I'm very proud of you. Like I didn't know you was my cousin till '98, and you got to be my cousin for 2 years or 4 years, and then you was gone again. You know what I mean? Like but I'm proud because I know, because I did 5 years, so I
I already
know
know.
I know how hard it is because you got so many things in your head that you want to do, and then you coming home and you want to do right, like you really do, and you want to do right, but the money ain't right, the living situation ain't right,
But
you ain't got.
let me tell you the beauty of having, survived the way I did all of these years, man. I'm a natural born hustler. You understand? You can always change the game. You can always change the game. It's like, bro, it's in me to hustle. It's in me. It's in me to survive. It's in me. I'm not somebody that's going to go, accept handouts. I'm not going to run around to my family like, yo, I need this. And listen, my family doing good up here. My family doing good and down there. My family's doing good all around. Like, my family is doing it. You know that. We doing it. But my thing is this. I'm not someone that is going to lean on y'all to do for me without I have the ability, the strength, the determination to do for myself. So it's just a matter of changing the game, and I'm making that transition now, man. And we already talked about what it is that we determined to do, and believe me, it's gonna get done. It's in the process of being done right now.
Well, it's crazy that you say that because it's like, whenever you hear a black man say, man, I'm a natural born hustler, right? You automatically go to the drug game or whatever, right? But a hustler is just someone who know how to get money, right?
That's
Like
right.
they just
That's
know how to
right.
get money, right?
That's right.
And I try to tell these young dudes all the time when I encounter them, like, yo, there's so many ways to make legal money now. Like you ain't gotta go out there and risk. You ain't gotta throw bricks at the penitentiary to make some money, man. There's so many ways that you can make legal money. And speaking of which, what is one of the ways that you make legal money, Matt?
And I do pop-ups, and it's how you basically pay for a table. It's a big building. They secured the space for like say 5-6 hours, and they put tables and stations up, and people pay $50, $75, whatever the case may be, to rent the table for that amount of time that the pop-ups is going on, and you bring whatever items you have that you feel like you can display and basically do vending. People buy. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
but what do you vend? What do you vend? Tell them what you vend.
Listen, we had like things like Yankee candles, Nike sweatsuits, UGG hats, scarves, and glove sets, all kind. I mean, perfumes, glasses. I mean, we have all type of. I mean, listen, all type of goods. Listen, one thing about where we do it at, those people come out and support. They come out and support, man. So that's been a beautiful experience. And I'm doing the car thing. Like my sister has her own license, used car dealership license. And I initially got involved with that through her. And I've been since that time, I've been dibbling dabbling here, dealing with buying and selling cars, used cars. So that's been another way to hustle and get money, take care of myself, take care. And plus, let me tell you something. And I want brothers to understand this. I want to put it in mathematical terms, but I want to simplify it so you understand.
You can't do it in mathematical terms for this group. You gotta.
Okay, so listen, I'm gonna just simplify it like this. How about this? I don't care who you are. Every man, like from teenager to your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Let me tell you something. In order to get to the best part of everything that this life has to offer you, you must go through a woman. You must find the right woman and go through her to get to the best part of anything. Because if you don't, you may get to what you perceive to be the best part, but you'll realize that it's not the best without her. It's not. You cannot produce the best part of anything without her. Just like you cannot produce a child without her, you cannot produce the best that life has to offer you without her, without going through her.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you do the math on that, right? I'm gonna go ahead and let you do the math because the best part is a black child, right? That's the best part.
Right. I mean, see,
that's the best part.
To simplify it, it's knowledge.
It's knowledge, which is the sun, is wisdom, which is the moon, and it's understanding, which is a star.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So right. You got to look at it like this. In order for you to get to that star, because right. you was once a star yourself.
Absolutely.
Like you was once a star yourself. And if you know anything about the sun is what? A big star. It's just a overgrown star. And what is the moon? The moon has no light by itself. It doesn't illuminate by itself. The moon is a reflection of the sun. The sunlight goes through the moon. And that's how the moon lights up. And that's how we get our wisdom, because of the light of the woman, right? Like, you know what I mean? The light of the woman. And that light of that woman will always bring you to the best part, which is the child, right? So a lot of people, right? And you got mad at me the other day when I called you a 5%er. I was like, yo.
Nah, I mean, I'm up to 5%, but I'm not a 5%er.
You're not a 5%er, but
you know, we are the nation of gods and earths. We no longer consider ourselves or refer to ourselves as 5%ers. The Father told us we are no longer to be referred to or consider ourselves 5%ers. This was in 1967. He said, "For this we are the nation of gods and earths." So we are of the 5%, without a question.
When I did my time in the federal university, state university or whatever, man, I was searching, man. I did Buddha. I did Buddha. I did the Nation of Islam. I did Christianity. I even went to the Indians. You know, the Indians, you know, they had a little ceremony. I even went there because I was really searching, because
you know what that says? That we are the Lord of all worlds. You can't be weak, strong in your own house and weak in somebody. You got to be the Lord of all worlds. So you got to track. That's a journey. Like, knowledge is infinite. Mm-hmm. There's no one answer.
Right.
There's no one answer. Listen, in reality, all truths are but half truths, if you know and understand.
You're not gonna get Socrates. You're not gonna get you're not gonna do that.
All right.
All I'm gonna say is that when I was searching, I realized something, man. And I put something on Facebook the other day, and I wasn't really trying to be arrogant, but I was like, yo, can't nobody tell me that they know more about the Creator than I do. Like, no one can tell me that, right? Like, you can't tell me that. You can tell me your version. You can tell me what you think, right? You can tell me how you believe, but let's keep it real. A belief ain't the truth. It's just what you believe. Right?
It's serious. That's a profound statement, because it all starts with belief, but that belief has to be converted, has to transcend into actual knowledge. Man,
Magnetic.
that's like belief is like potential energy. Knowledge itself is like kinetic energy. You understand?
Well, Magnetic. So when I was searching, I ended up just being enamored with the Moore Science Temple of America, right? Like that's where I'm at. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That's where I'm at with mine. Right? And there's a 3-step ladder that you got to travel through, Mike, right? There's belief, there's faith, and then there's fruition. Right. A lot of people try to use belief and faith interchangeably, but they're not the same thing. They are not the same thing. Belief is what you believe. Belief is what you believe is true. Faith is your action that you take on that belief. And fruition is you being what you believe. That's what that is. Like that's when you are what you believe through your faith. So once I realized that, and he thought, and he said something that was very profound that I carry with me all the time. And this is why I do this podcast. He said, if I can get my people to think, they can save themselves. If I can get them to think, they can save themselves. And that's the thing about us. When we're so talented that we think that if something happens, we can react to it and get through it. Like it's just we react. We're reactionary people. That's what we are. We're reactionary people. But whenever you're reactionary people, you're always behind of the person that took the action, right? Like you're always behind of the action because you're reacting to the action. I'm an action person and you're an action person now. You putting things in action. And since you didn't say it, I'm going to say it. Not only are you hustling in the pop-ups, not only are you hustling with the cars, but you also going to school so you can get your truck driving license.
Absolutely. That's the main goal. Like, remember I was telling you, man, knowledge must go through women. You must go through that woman. Listen, the woman that I have in my life right now is everything to me, man, because she's the path I'm on right now. It's like through her, that vision came to me through her motivation, through her determination, through her actual doing. I watched her do what it is that I want to do. She crazy. Yeah, she did it first.
But it's crazy though. It's crazy because your whole family drive trucks.
That's the thing. She's driving with the family right now. She has her CD unrestricted Class A CDLs, and she's doing it. I'm talking about doing it. You already know she's doing it, and it's like she's doing it with the family. And you know what the goal is. You know what the ultimate goal is. And listen,
we're gonna keep that right there.
Add on. I'm definitely gonna add on to that cipher.
Hey man, look, Magnetic man. Once again, man, I love you, man, and I'm proud of you. And like you listen. One thing that prison does that a lot of people don't give it credit for. It preserves you, right? Like it preserves you, right? Like I seen guys in prison 60 years old that look like they 30. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the reason why it preserves you, because for the most part, if you don't got your sentence, you already know what you're doing. You already know. So ain't no use in stressing, because what makes you get old is stress. Yeah. And the stresses of life are not really affecting you when you're in that, you're in that system, you're in that Western. They are, but not to the point to where you got to pay a light bill, you got to pay a mortgage, you got a house bill. Some woman, you done messed around and you done dibble and dabble, and now you arguing. You ain't got to go through none of that stress. The only stress that you're going through is missing your family, basically, and missing the outside world. But you ain't got to go through that stress. So it preserves you, brother. You don't listen, cause you don't look like you're 57. Like, and I know you get.
I don't feel 57 either. I don't move like I'm 57. I don't, I mean, I'm only as old as I feel, man. And I'm telling you, I feel like I'm about 40, 35, 40. That's how I feel.
Okay. All right, man. Listen, man. Do you have anything you want to tell the people?
Nah, it's not so much as tell the people. I just want to thank those who were instrumental along the way and bringing about, this reality I'm living in now, man. It's a lot of people that, really a lot I can say, but there are certain individuals that have had major influence in my life. And, to all of them, you know who you are. To all of them, man, I'm truly grateful for you having journeyed this far with me and really continue to believe in me. Like I got one brother, and I gotta shout him out. My brother Jabri, I love him infinitely. Like that's one of the realest brothers that's ever came into my life and stayed in my life and stayed consistent with who he is. Like he never changed on me. Never changed on me. And that's major to me. But it's a lot of brothers, man, that I'm proud of. I watched and I saw the growth and development and the trials and tribulations that they faced and overcame, and that was inspiration as well, man. But my main thing, if I'm gonna give a message, man, is to the youth, man. Listen, you are the future, and it's like what you do. I could watch you. See, when you in tune to a certain degree, you can watch the youth and know that it's the thoughts that they're projecting that bring about certain actions that you see them partaking in it right now. And you know that those thoughts and those actions are bringing about events that's going to shape and mold what's to come. So if you in tune, you see what's coming. But see, a lot of us, we just looking in our immediate surroundings in the hood and seeing, fighting and killing one another and think we have. But listen, if you broaden your vision, if you visionary, and instead of, like you said, reactionary in your thinking, if you visionary, you could see that this is not all that's going on. Our youth are doing it out there. I'm talking about on a universal scale, not just in the hoods. They doing it out there, and they not going for the okie doke. A lot of our youth are awoke. You understand what I'm saying? And they making things happen that it's going to bring about that change, bro.
You know what though? I don't like the term woke, right? Like if my eyes are open and I'm breathing and I'm cognizant, I'm woke. I don't like the term woke. I kind of like the term intelligently aware, right? Like intelligently aware. Because you can be aware, but it don't have to be intelligently. An intelligent, aware person is able to see exactly what you're talking about. Like it's able to see what's to come, and I don't think like these youth, they woke. They just are intelligently aware because they have access to so much information now.
Yes.
Right. They got so much access to information that you can't pull the wool over their eyes.
Yes.
Right. Like you can't pull the wool over that, because if you tell them something, all they got to do is Google it.
Yeah.
That's all they got to do. Google. All they got to do is
they're not taking anything on face value. We're no longer taking things on face value, man. Everything's subjected to be shown and proven, man. And we can do that for ourselves. You don't have to show and prove nothing. You can speak on it, but I'll show and prove to be, what you said to be either right and exact or, basuda, basically.
Right. Hey, man. And that's what it's about. But I want to ask you a question. You see this flag right here? This flag?
Yes.
Do you know what that flag is? The red, black, and gold one?
Talk about it.
So the red, black, and gold flag, and I never knew this, man, up until about a month ago. Like, how everybody has a flag, and we are Black Americans, right? And even though, like, first of all, let's keep it real. We want to attach ourselves to Africa. And I get it, right? I get it. We're dark skinned, that it's the dark continent or whatever. We want to attach ourselves to Africa, but everybody's African, right? Everybody, and in the nation of God's and earth, everybody Asiatic, right? Like that's what it is. Everybody. It's just that everybody migrated to different parts, and because of I can go into Yaku, big head scientists. I can go into all that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say
Pangea.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to say is everyone migrated, and doing that migrating, everyone evolved to what they are now. right?
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So whether we want to look at it like that or not, we were taking our ancestors, you and our ancestors was taken from the continent of Africa, right?
Yes.
It's just like if it's just like we migrated from Africa, except we did it in chains. Now we came here, we don't have the same culture as Africa, we don't have the same music, we don't have the same language, we don't think the same, we don't do anything like Africa. We are the youngest and the newest Black Americans are the newest ethnicity in the world. Like we are an ethnicity to ourselves, right? So going back to this flag was created in 1967 and it's called the Black American Heritage Flag, right? And nobody in school, none of my parents or my grandparents even told me about this flag. This flag has been in existence for us since 1967. This is our flag, right? This is ours. The red, black, and green is something Marcus Garvey came up with for Pan-Africanism. The red, black, and green is supposed to unite all Africans all over the world. But this particular flag is specifically for us, and we never knew nothing about it. So I'm going to fly this flag as long as this show is running, and I'm going to talk about this flag. Okay. But before we go, you know I got to do, baby. You know what it is. I got to ask you 2 questions, and one is a 3-part question. All right. So the first question is, what are you doing to push the culture forward?
Listen, what I'm doing to push the culture forward is, like maximum cultural development. That's the science, that stays at the forefront of my thinking. Maximum cultural development. Culture is a way of life. Like maximizing the way I live, to be a walking, talking, breathing, living example of what it is that we should be doing. You know what I'm saying? What it is that we've done. I've already set bad examples in that regard, but I'm still walking, talking, breathing. You know what I'm saying? Living proof that no matter what anybody tells you, you can always do better. You can always better yourself. As long as you wake up from each day to the next, that's a golden opportunity to live better and do better and experience the best that life has to offer. So, culturally, I can teach. I through experience, I've learned so much, and I have so much to give, especially to the youth, because the babies are the greatest. So especially to the youth. So when I come in tune with the youth, that I sense that desire to know. Yeah, any knowledge I have no problem giving it to them. But I don't force feed anyone.
That's what's up. So the next question is, I need for you to name me 3 famous Black people, but they can't be athletes or entertainers.
Let me tell you something, man. Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali.
Oh, you can't use none of the picture people on my pictures, so you can't use.
I don't care about your pictures. I don't care about your pictures. These are people that, let me tell you something. Of all the things that we can study, man, history best rewards those who do research, man. History. Mm-hmm. And you best believe.
So you said Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, and what's your other person?
Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut.
Now tell me, who is that?
That's a queen.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, but okay, all right, I got you. So next time you come on the show, you can't use them 3.
No, man. Listen, we have kings and queens, man. Man, we could talk for hours about the people who came up through history and paved the way, man, for us to even still be here.
So just a little caveat. To your 3 people. Wait, two of your 3 people.
Okay.
So Marcus Garvey started the UNIA.
Yes.
Black Star Lines,
Yes.
and he is the only person to this day that was exiled out of the country for
Yeah.
tax
Yeah.
for tax evasion. They didn't get him for nothing else, and the reason why they got him for tax evasion because they don't teach you this in history, but he's responsible for the Harlem Renaissance. He's even responsible for the Moorish Science Temple of America. He's even responsible for the NAACP because they got their charter and their whole design out of the UNIA. But he had 1 million followers strong, and he was too powerful. And they knew they couldn't assassinate him, right? They couldn't because it's 1 million, and it ain't 1 million mixed people. It's 1 million all black. So they couldn't assassinate him, right? So they had to get him out of the country. They couldn't kill him because if they killed him, it's 1 million. Like it's 1 million, right? Like they're not doing. They're not. That is not happening. That is not. And the same thing with Malcolm X. They didn't plot on Malcolm X until he got out of the Nation of Islam. Remember this. Nobody, the CIA, the FBI, the DEA, nobody messes with the Nation of Islam. It's too many members. It's too many members. But when Malcolm X branched off and was doing his own thing, he ain't got that many members. If something happened to him, it ain't gonna be a big uproar, especially if we use somebody that looked like him and plan it on them. So it ain't gonna be no uproar. Yeah. And then going to Noble Drew Ali, a lot of people don't understand this, but the Nation of Islam copied the Moorish Science Temple of America, right?
Man, so many schools of thought sprang from those sciences that was revealed by that man. Listen, we know this, and listen. Brothers make no qualms about that. You know what I'm saying? When you go to the foundation, you have the Moors Science Temple. You have them like they set the stage for a lot of these sciences, these schools of thoughts that we dealing with now. It sprang from that. That was the foundation because you got to remember, if you're going to spin a web of lies, those lies have to be spent around some degree of truth. So you get to that degree of truth and it bring you to the foundation. You'd be surprised where that foundation sprang from.
Yeah. Well, I just tell people this. I say to me, I respect, honor, and love Elijah Muhammad. But before he was Elijah Muhammad, he was Elijah Poole Bey.
Yeah.
Before he was Elijah Muhammad, he was Elijah Poole Bey. And if you know anything about the Moorish Science Temple of America, when you join, you either become an L
or Bey. That's right. Or Bey. That's right.
You either become an L or a Bey, and he was a Bey. And so I listen, man. It's like you said, man, when you study history, and that's the thing about when I was going through all those religions, man, when I was incarcerated, when I was going through all those religions, Magnetic, I just found a common thread, man. And the common thread is treat people the way you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely.
That's the common thread. Like, love people the way you want to be loved.
Absolutely.
That's the common thread in everything. You could talk about Jesus, you could talk about Muhammad, you could talk about Buddha, you could talk about Martin Luther, you can talk about whoever you want to talk about, but they all taught love thy neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.
Period.
And the best thing that we can do as a people, man, is get rid of that entitlement mentality, man. Get rid of that entitlement mentality, man. Stop thinking that, you're entitled to anything coming from someone else. If someone does something for you, extends themselves to you, it's not because you was entitled to that. So don't feel like nobody owed you that, because that's what, man, that brings about so much separation in the end, man. That does not unify us. That's what keeps us separate. And I realized that a long time ago, and And I've been fighting it tooth and nail because I extend myself. You wouldn't believe how much I extend myself to people only to watch them respond in a way that shows me that they have an entitlement mentality. I'm telling you, and I'm looking at them like, listen, you wasn't entitled to anything, you know, but I love my people, man. So it's like, you know, I push on, man.
I'm to the point to the now where like, yo, you know how everybody say karma's a B, right? Karma's a B, like it's a B, but they only saying that in regards to something bad happening. But karma goes both. It goes both ways, right? Like you could do good karma too. Like you can set up good karma.
Yeah.
So I'm to the point now where it's like, yo, a lot of things that if I do something for someone, I'm really not doing it for them. I'm doing it for my own karma, right? Like I'm doing it for my own karma, you know, and whatever they decide to do. And you know, it's hard because whenever you do something for someone, you want to feel appreciated. Like you want to feel that. That's a human thing. You do something for somebody, at least say thank you. At least, right? At least because you want to feel like they appreciate you and not thinking that you gave that to them because, like you said, you I'm entitled to it, or you suppose, or like for example, me and you my cousin. If I call you and ask you for a G, I feel like you should give it to me because we're family. No, that ain't right.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Yeah.
No. And if you do give it to me, I gotta be appreciative with it. Meaning, and this is appreciation. Appreciation don't stop at thank you. Appreciation continues on after the thank you, because if I give you $1,000, Magnetic, and you go out here and blow it, I'm not giving you $1,000 no more.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it no more. I'm not going to continue
the
to
appreciation is shown in what I do with it. Yeah, absolutely.
What you do.
And if I do the right thing with it, guess what? I can return it.
Exactly.
And still having benefited from you giving it to me.
Exactly. Hey man, I'm trying to stay on point, man, but you know, we get on this, we might have to come back for a part 2 sometime in January.
And, you know, we can always talk, man, and I feel like, you know, these conversations, there's always someone that'll hear something that'll be that spark of life, man, that'll take them, you know, to greater heights in terms of how they think, how they see, and how they do things. And that's really what it's all about.
Okay. I mean, y'all, this is Magnetic Sun. I was great telling your whole government name, dude. I was great. But I ain't gonna do that to you, because
that's the honorable name. That's what Mama Love gave me. So, you know, I wear that as well.
Nah. Listen, man. I when I became in the Moore Science Temple of America, right? That's one thing that I like about the Moore Science Temple, is that when you come in, they don't ask you to forsake the name that your parents gave you.
That's right.
They don't ask you. They just say, look, we're gonna add this hyphenated at the end of your name, because your parents my father gave me Dolores.
Yeah, that right? First name. That's what I was gonna say. That first name, everything. We know where that last name came from, but that first name, everything.
So they don't ask you. They don't ask you to get rid of that. Like they don't, you know, whereas I'm not saying the Nation of Islam asks you to get rid of it, but they try to give you Arabic names. You know what I mean? Like, and one thing that, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with Islam, but one thing that got me turned off from Islam is when I read in the Quran where it says, to you, I've given you your own religion in your own tongue, easy for you to understand. So when I read that, I don't read Arabic, so I'm reading it in English.
Yes.
So right then and there, he's telling them, look, I'm giving this religion to you, not to nobody else. I'm giving it to you. And so that's one thing that turned me off, because I believe this. I don't believe in religion, like in the sense of a word. I believe in spirituality, like being spiritual and being connected with the divine essence of everything. You know what I mean? Like I believe in that, and I don't believe there's no particular name that you can subscribe to that. You know what I mean? Like there's no name. You could try to name it, but when you try to name the divine, then you put it in a box, right? Like you subscribe it to one particular title, like God or Allah or Jehovah. You putting it in a box, and the divine is wide open. It's not in the box. It's everywhere. It's every name. It's every syllable. It's every continent, every consonant. Like, it's not one particular thing. It's everything.
Yes.
Right? Like and I try to tell people, like, when they ask me, well, what religion are you? I'm no religion. But if you want to ask me who I follow the same people. I follow Abraham, right? That's you know what I mean? I follow Abraham. Abraham is the father of all these religions. Every religion that's on the face of the planet came through Abraham, right? So if I'm going to follow someone, I'm going to follow the source, right? And that source led me to Noble Drew Ali, point blank. You know what I mean? And it led you to Clarence 13X. You know what I mean? Like and that's
the Father of Allah.
And that's the thing, though. We all vibrate.
Yes.
We all like
one thing that you said. I want to add a little clarity for you. When you said when you read that part in the Quran, let me tell you something. Islam was given to a certain people as a religion. Reason being is because those who gave it to them knew and understood that they could not keep and obey the actual laws of Islam. Islam simply means peace. But when you got a nomadic people, they don't know peace. They don't want peace. They will never live in peace. You understand? So they were given that as a religion. Islam is not a religion. Islam simply means peace. Islam is I God. That's a way of life. The culture is I God, not a religion.
Yo, it's crazy, right? Like, so I got to the point to where I started breaking down words, right? Like breaking down words, and I'm telling you, I was in it, man. I was in it. Magnetic. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Arrahmanirrahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka
na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim. Listen, Lord of all worlds.
So I'm in it, right? I'm in it. Yes, but if I'm gonna be in it, I want to know about it, right? Like I want to know about it, right? So going to point to what you're saying is that it wasn't that they were nomadic, they were barbarians.
Yeah, no, I mean barbarians. They live a nomadic life. They would listen. There's no need to break it all the way down to the last comma. We know what they were and are. But for the purpose of this conversation, we don't have to take it all the way there. I just want to make understood in terms of that aspect of religion and why it was given to them that way and why it was stated that way in the Holy Quran.
Right. Hey man, I'm gonna go, but I want you to take this with you.
Okay.
Right? But it's from Erykah Badu, and this is what I had to learn. That's why I told you can't really do the mathematics, but this is what I had to learn. She says, "What good do your words do if they can't understand you?"
True indeed. You have to be able to make understanding understood, man. That's the equality between us. That's the equality. Because if the understanding isn't understood, what's it all for?
So when I came home, like when you incarcerated and you dealing with a particular branch of divinity, right? You every day you speaking the jargon, you doing the language, peace God, you doing everything, like you doing it all, like you Islam more, you doing it all, and you come out and you doing that. People look at you like you crazy, yeah. Right? Not because you are crazy, but because they don't understand it. Right? Like they don't understand it. They ain't been studying like you've been studying, right? And then when you come home and you got so much light on you, you know what I mean? You got so much light in you that you want to spread it out, but it's like instead of you giving them a light to God, You on high beam, you blinding them. Like, you know what I mean? You on high beam, you just trying to give it to him, give it to him, give it to him, give it to him, and you can't do that. So I ain't gonna say I done
fanatical. Never become fanatical in anything, because you lose yourself in that. You lose yourself, and you, of course, you lost the people, but in losing yourself, you don't stand a chance of reaching anybody, especially yourself. So come on, man. I understand what you mean.
You know what I mean? So that's why a lot of my audience, man, like, they may have heard of the Nation of Gods on Earth. They may have heard of it. You know, a lot of them probably only heard of it through rap.
Or through the internet, which is a bunch of garbage. Man, I came home, man, and went on that internet, man. I was so thoroughly disgusted and disappointed with what I was reading. Oh my goodness.
I'm the same way with the Moorish Science Temple.
Yes.
You know, but it is what it is, man. We just got to do our part. You know what I mean? Like, we just and if somebody hear this message and one person, if they decide, you know what, I'm gonna do better, then we did our part. Like, point blank. That's each one teach one.
Yeah,
right?
By no means am I perfect, or do I profess to be perfect.
Exactly.
I'm a what's how you say it? I can't even. It's a specific way of stating it that sums me up. I'm a work in progress. There you go.
Or you perfectly
in progress.
Or you imperfectly perfect. You imperfectly perfect, right?
You work in progress. Perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know what I mean?
Like I told you, I got the right woman now. So listen, ain't no stopping me. You gonna see. Like this 5-year plan is serious.
Listen, man. Listen. I see you. You smiling. So we not. Man, I'm not even.
I ain't never smiled this. You know, I ain't never smiled this much in my life.
I'm not touching
everybody
that,
who know me, man. Listen,
I love you. I love you, cuz.
Love you too, no doubt.
And hopefully we'll link up real soon, man. I gotta get off here, man. We don't went an hour and 30 minutes, man. I gotta edit this down. And you making me, God Almighty, boy.
Gotta work, right?
Hey, yeah, man. Hey, cuz I love you, man, and keep up the good work. Whenever you get your CDLs, man, let me know so you can come back on the show. So
absolutely.
Because how many ever people seen this video? Those are the people that you're gonna be accountable to. Okay. So you know what I mean? So you got to come back and show them that you did what you said you was gonna do.
Absolutely. All
right.
I'm definitely about my work, man.
Everybody, Magnetic Sun, my cousin.
Peace.
Peace, cuz. I call you when it's over with, all right?
Absolutely.
That was my cousin Magnetic Sun. 25 years in prison, man, on and off. It's a lot of years, especially when you're only 57 years old. So you got to figure 57, 25 years, 22 years of living in the streets. And you got to figure probably 16 of those years were, 0 to 16. So we had another 6 years of living, and then everything else is incarceration. And some of it is him, falling, and all of us falling prey to the product and being a product of our environment. And some of it is the system. It's the way the system is set up. But if we know the system is set up like that, we don't need to be playing in that game. And remember, man, I love y'all. And always remember, in order for you to be a blessing, in order for you to receive a blessing, you must first be a blessing. Peace.